All right, we're gonna get started. So, morning, guys. So this is something that we're going to be doing regularly, is providing updates to the community about what we're working on and everything that's going on with the game theory. So the structure is going to be, first off, I'm just going to go through some of the statistics and so where we're at from a financial perspective and walk everyone through that. Then I'm going to go through a checklist of things that we accomplished over that previous day or the previous few days before that, depending on the time gap in between these calls. And then I'm going to go through and answer some of the questions that I found either in the specific question channel or through the general chat. And then right at the end, I'll open it up for the chance for someone to ask one question if they feel like there was something that they didn't get asked. So hopefully this is not too long, but people are able to get some important information, some important updates as well. So starting off with what's going on from information perspective, I'm going to share my screen on here so you guys can see too. So for you guys, we pause this preview, save resources. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Cool. So first thing is going through the statistics and where we are at. So if we hop on over to Deck Screener and we start off with, that's theory. Let's load. All right, so if we look at where we're at with games, so comparing to we had a very busy day yesterday, so we had a massive shot up across the board in all the statistics. So right now we're sitting at $130,000 in terms of liquidity. A day and a half ago, that number for liquidity was at 26,000. So we were there like 2 days ago. We were at 26,000. Now at 130,000 in liquidity. Price at $2.58. And then we had a 24-hour volume of $46,000. So everything's jumped up a lot there. If we look at the Theory token, similar thing. Theory was at, I think, 22,000 in volume. We're now at $81,000 in liquidity. Price of 39.38, and we've had $47,000 in terms of liquidity. So everything has made a big jump up as well. And if we go over and look at where we're at on the website, total value locked, we are at, it's going to load for me. There we go, $262,000. So that number yesterday, when did the call with Sweetie, we were at 53,000 total value locked. So we've 5x since then. So we've had a lot of new people, a lot of new money come into the protocol, which is for you guys who are here right at the start, you got to see this big jump and big increase. We go over and look at the Treasury wallet. This number was at $1,500, I think, 2 days ago. So now we're at 17,851. Plus we have another $1,100 in the reserve treasury. $400 was sent out for sent out to one of our members who had earned a reward. And so we're sitting just under $20,000. Breaking that down, almost all of that, 17,317, is coming from our sales of minting NFTs. Then we still have some of the money left from Genesis Pool. So $300 in Phantom, $150 in Ethereum, $72 in MIM. We've got our B Phantom, and our P Phantom is actually staked over at Ripay. So that's doing that. We've got the game that we get for the Treasury's allocation. We've got our liquidity pool tokens from the withdrawal fees in the game DAI liquidity pool. We've got our liquidity pool tokens in the Theory DAI liquidity pool, and then we have our withdrawal fees from people in Theoretics as well. So the Treasury is just steadily growing and growing and growing. So from a statistics perspective, everything's has increased a lot in the last couple of days. In terms of what's going on and what did we do yesterday? So we had a lot happen yesterday. So we had our application for CoinGecko. So we sent that in. So CoinMarketCap, we have an application. CoinGecko, we have an application. And we're looking into getting the vote up on DBank so we can get listed there as well. We promoted one of our moderators, so ALT4, we promoted him to a head moderator. So he's going to be heading up everything to do with our moderators, managing that. He's been really helpful, made some graphics for us, been moderating the chat. And so if anyone's interested into getting into the moderator system, like, they can contact him and ask him how that process works. We had our first live video AMA yesterday morning, like I think a couple hours earlier than this time yesterday morning, and we got a lot of positive feedback from that. Also, some things we could improve on. So hopefully, this structure you guys find a little bit more organized, a little bit easier to process the information. We launched Theoretics, so that was great. So we had our version of the boardroom go open. We had a lot of tweaks to the user interface because there's a lot more going on with our protocol than your standard seniorage protocol, but I thought the launch of that went really well. We had our NFTs launch, so that has been really good, and we're going to be talking about the NFTs in a little bit more detail, but we thought those were very popular. We had the issue that we had with the money of it in terms of what our initial idea was to make the entry price lower versus people being able to figure out the system. And that's also going to be something I'm going to talk about in a second. But we had our NFT launch that was pretty successful. If we go and have a look for NFTs, last check, currently there are 83. So we've minted 83 NFTs so far. And we, for the game development, so Sweetie added the basic networking for Brutal Network, so we're able to get some game development in, even with everything that was doing with the protocol itself. We had our competition and our invite winners, so the people who won the invite competition, the people who won the community competition. So we had our winners, we announced that in the announcement section, and we sent out their money as well. That's part of what happened with the reserve treasury, was also to do with that. We did add in the Zap feature to allow people to be able to stake into the liquidity pools instantly. But as Sweetie announced, the feature that we copied that from had some bugs in it, and so Sweetie's taken that off. She's going to fix it and then going to redeploy it in the next day. We have our Treasury Reserve Fund, so we did that so that when either one of Sweetie or I are offline, we're still able to do business transactions. So we have the Reserve Fund, that's in the document and that's in the announcement, so you can go and track that and you can see what the Reserve Fund is doing as well as see what the Treasury is doing. Anything to do with the Reserve Fund and to do with the Treasury, those are all going to be protocol-related activities. And then we have our NFT, Treasury Investments, yes. Treasury Investments. So our first Treasury investment was staking with RightBase. So we put the B Phantom and P Phantom that we got from the Genesis pools. We stake them on their platform so they can earn a return from us. Our first big Treasury investment we're going to be making is being based on DeFi Kingdoms in some of our mechanics. We thought they would be a great place to start. And it's great timing because they're just about to go cross-chain and launch their own subnet onto Avalanche, and then now they'll be on Harmony and they'll have their own subnet, and they're going to be launching new farms for that, and so we're going to be getting involved in that. That's going to be launching tomorrow, and so we're going to be staking some of the treasury funds into their liquidity pools to earn a return from there. So when we do make that move, we'll send that out, we'll send the information out, we'll send out the transaction so you guys can track to see how that is doing over time, and we'll give you regular updates for that as well. Going to NFTs. So NFTs was a big one. So it was really popular and we love our community and we have some very intelligent investors in here. And so as soon as we launched and came up with the mechanics, there were people who were looking to see how they could make it the most profitable for themselves, which is exactly what they should be doing. The whole idea that we had originally with the NFTs was that we wanted the initial price point to be low to give an opportunity for people to be able to get in there. And so even if people didn't have a lot of money, through time and letting it level up every 3 days, the opportunity to level it up. So over 6 months, they'd be able to have a level 50 NFT without needing to have the money for $25,000 just to be able to buy it all in one go. And that's why we had the slow releasing schedule, because we didn't want it to be a case where it was, if people already had a good amount of money and then they could drop $25,000 on an NFT, they could just do that on day one, unlock whatever L tokens they wanted to unlock, and then just be in so much further ahead than your average investor who doesn't have that kind of amount of money. And then what we found is that people were looking at ways in which they can maybe buy one NFT or buy multiple NFTs at level one and then wait for them to level up a level, then merge them together, and all these different strategies. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, but our job and our responsibility is to ensure that there's fundamental fairness with our shareholders. And we don't think that it's fair if the people who have a lot more money get way more advantage than other people. Obviously, it's their own money. They're free to do with what they want on it, but it's our job to make sure that the mechanics create at least some kind of level of fairness, some kind of level of equity. So we wanted to create a balance between people who are willing to put the long-term time in staking in the protocol with people who also are invested in the protocol but have more capital in order to deploy. And so what we've decided to do is that we're going to be making a big change with the NFTs, also inspired by DeFi Kingdoms, and we're going to have multiple generations of NFTs. So the NFTs that are in existence now, they're going to be our generation 0 NFTs, and there's going to be a very limited supply of those NFTs. We're actually pretty close to. So the generation 0 bronze NFTs, the limit for them is going to be 100. So we were at 83, was that right? How many? Yeah, so 83 NFTs right now. So that means there's 17 more generation 0 bronze NFTs that are available. Once they hit 100, they'll no longer be available. On the silver tier, there's going to be 30 silver NFTs that are going to be available. On the gold tier, there's going to be 15 NFTs that are going to be available. And on the platinum tier, there's going to be 5 NFTs that are going to be available. Those generation 0 NFTs are going to have the same functions, which is that they're able to merge. They're able to merge as many times as they want to. But now adding this feature of them having a limited supply means that every time that 2 generation 0 NFTs get merged, that means the supply is going to decrease. So that means that over time, these NFTs should just get more and more and more valuable, especially once we release our marketplace, as the protocol grows, as time goes on, which is what we've seen has happened with DeFi Kingdoms, is that their generation 0 NFTs when I was looking at them yesterday, they were 15 times more valuable than the generation 2 NFTs. Obviously, this is a much more further period of time, but because they have those benefits. So that's the plan with generation 0 NFTs. They're going to have 100 available at bronze level, 30 available at silver, 15 available at gold, and 5 available at platinum. All this information I'm going to be posting on the group. The other benefit that they're going to get is that when we have our treasury investments, the system that we're going to use to distribute those profits is we're going to be airdropping them to NFT holders. So in order to get those treasury investments that you need to hold an NFT in your wallet, and you'll get airdropped the returns from our treasury. We're then going to have generation 1 NFTs. So generation 1 NFTs are going to have a larger supply. So we're going to have 300 bronze generation 1 NFTs available. We're going to have 100 silver available. We're going to have 50 gold available. And then we're going to have 10 platinum available. Now with generation 1 NFTs, the price points are all the same, but they can only be merged one time. So either of the NFTs, so if you merge 2 of your NFTs, those are now become merged NFTs. Sorry, that one NFT is now merged, and now it can't be merged with any other NFTs ever in its existence. That was a feature that we put in there to stop it so people could game the system and say, buy 10 level 1 NFTs, merge them all together, and be at a point where they have a level 10 NFT without having to wait through the process like other people or getting it for a lower price. So the generation 1 NFTs, they can only be merged one time. They're also going to qualify for the airdrops as well. And generation 0 NFTs can't merge with generation 1 NFTs. So generation 0 NFTs can only merge with other generation 0 NFTs. And generation 1 NFTs, for now, they can only merge with other generation 1 NFTs. And what we're going to be doing is, over time, as the protocol grows, and if the demand for more NFTs is there, we're going to be releasing future generations of NFTs, and each of them are going to have different features. So we really want to add a lot of utility and a lot of value to those NFTs, and also enable the marketplace to be very robust and have a lot of different options. And so that's what we're putting in place. And so hopefully you guys enjoy it. Please, whatever feedback you've got, DM me, DM Sweetie, talk about it in the main chat. And we really want this to be community driven. So this isn't something that's a negative point. We love the fact that our community was able to see kind of some holes or abilities to game the system. And we want it to be a game, like we're literally called game theory, obviously, but we don't want some of our shareholders to be able to exploit or take advantage of other shareholders. And we want to make sure that there's a game in it, and people who have better strategies, more advanced strategies, are able to get more out of it. But our job is just to maintain a base level of fairness and equity for the entire community, so no one's getting left behind. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. Hopefully this creates lots of different strategies, lots of different ways in which you can interact with the protocol. And as we grow, our NFT marketplace becomes really a huge part of the ecosystem and provides a lot of value to people. So all of you guys who are here super early, all of you guys who have those Generation Zero NFTs, they're just going to get more and more and more valuable over time. So in terms of questions, so some of the questions I saw in there, I saw asked about our marketing plan. So I had a meeting with someone yesterday who was applying for the job of being our Twitter manager and who was going to be taking charge of the marketing system over there. So that's something that I'm in advanced talks about. We are also in partnership talks too. So we're in the early stages of that, looking at a couple different protocols in terms of getting partnerships with. Like I spoke about earlier, this isn't something that we're looking to rush because we really take this stuff seriously and we have a very long-term view of things. So we don't want to enter into a partnership that we would then have to exit because we don't share the same philosophy, or they don't treat their investors properly, or they end up being a rug. So we're really going to take our time, do our vetting, make sure that the philosophies of the two companies align, and there's going to be the people who we're going to partner with. We have like I said, we've applied for our CoinMarketCap listing and our CoinGecko listing, and we're also looking at DBank. Also been in talks with YieldWolf as well. Like we were talking about in the chat, we have there are some technical difficulties because of our withdrawal system, because of our locking system, and it's going to be difficult for them to be able to put us on their system, but they haven't ruled it out. And I think they're looking to see like how the project does, what the quality of the project is like, in order to evaluate if they want to add us onto their protocol as well. If not, we always have the option is to build our own auto compounders, or there are other auto compounding protocols like Devil Finance that we're looking at too. So we will definitely have an auto compounder. It just depends on, is it on an external site or is it on our own site? That's something that we're still figuring out. Next question I got. So they asked just about the date for the NFT Marketplace. So our goal is to have the NFT Marketplace live within 2 weeks of the launch of Theoretics. Other question I got was about game development. So as you can see, there's been a lot of stuff going on with the protocol. So our development plan initially is really focusing the majority on the protocol, so that we could have got the farms launched, get Theoretics launched, get the NFTs launched, get the NFT Marketplace launched. So before all of those things are fully launched and deployed, a lot of time is going to be spent on the protocols. Obviously, Sweetie's doing all the development, but she's still working on the game. So the things that she's got accomplished so far, we talked about earlier about adding the basic networking. We hired artists who've been able to create our concept art. So we have 2 different artists working on that. They also worked on the NFTs. And that's something that's going to be accelerating. And also, we're actively looking to hire more developers. So to take some of the load off of her to be able to split up the work, because essentially she's running 2 protocols, which is building the game and also building all the features for the protocol. So we're looking to expand that development team, but that's where we're at with the game development. But once we get the NFT Marketplace launched, there won't be so many things in terms of the protocol that will need to keep constantly be added or updating. And then we'll be able to focus a lot more time and energy on game development. There was a question that was asked about the marketplace. So let me just pull that up so everyone can see it. Questions for AMA. Yeah, so this was the King Muzu question. He said, will we be able to sell leveled up NFTs on the marketplace? How will that work with minting prices in the future? Will someone that bought an NFT today be able to sell it at level 50 in 6 months? So basically his question was that as the NFTs level up, does the effectiveness of those extra levels help you when it comes to sell them in the marketplace? The question is yes. So whatever level NFT that you have, you can then go and take that over to the marketplace and then try and sell it for whatever price someone's willing to buy it at. So if you buy a bronze level 1 NFT that's generation 0, you level it up all the way to level 50, you now have a bronze generation 0 level 50 NFT. It will never be a platinum NFT because whatever color it is when you buy it, that's the color it is forever. But you would have a bronze generation 0 level 50 NFT, and you can go and sell that on the marketplace and see what the market values that NFT at. And he also asked about how to unlock, or what the possible percentage be to unlock L tokens in the game. That's something that's to be decided as we get closer to the game launch, as we do the beta testing, we're going to have a lot of different aspects of the game that will allow you to unlock different L tokens. And it's going to be just a pure correlation between the more challenging the task or the quest is, the higher L tokens is going to be able to unlock. And the easier it is, the less tokens going to be able to unlock, because we want to incentivize people playing the game and incentivize people being successful at the game with those L tokens. We asked about, we have a promotional period for silver NFTs as well, just like bronze one. Say promotional period, so it's going to be based on supply. So there'll be a certain supply of those available. The prices are going to be the same, but it's going to be about the supply that's available. So once that supply gets bought up, that's the supply. And then YouTube influencers, yes, that's something that we're looking into as well. We are very cautious though when it comes to YouTube influencers, because we don't want it to be a case that someone just we pay someone who doesn't really care or doesn't understand or really buy into the project, and they just send it out to their followers and they just jump into it because they just do whatever that person says. I think we've seen that happen too much. We've also seen issues arise where, certain projects have worked with certain influencers and the project has screwed the influencer over, or the influencer has screwed the project over. So we feel like that space is a little bit murky. Ideally, we would prefer that to be more organic, where people see the project, they see the protocol, and off their own back, they decide to make their own video about it. It's not paid and sponsored content, not because of the money, but because we feel that it's much more effective when it's organic. I'm sure like everyone here has listened to watched YouTube videos themselves. And for me, I feel like it's very clear the difference between someone who's getting paid to put content out there versus someone who's come across something, thought it was really exciting, invested into it themselves, and now they're telling people about it, which is really what word of mouth is. It's like you hear about something, you're excited about it, you tell other people about it. We feel like that's actually the best form of marketing versus you being paid to say that you're interested in something. So it doesn't mean to say that we're against it for sure. We're definitely looking into it, but it's something that we're going to be cautious about. It's something we're going to be very, very selective about. And what we've already found in only being launched for a week, we've already seen that some of the people who, when they saw that we were at 20,000 total value locked, have obviously seen how much growth has increased in our project. And we're getting a much more experienced investors, much bigger people start to come and reach out to us and ask us questions, find out about what we're doing. And I think for those of you who were there on day one, day two, when we had nothing to show in terms of total value locked or in terms of volume, but the concept was there, the idea was there. We said that we were going to keep on building, and that's really our philosophy, is that if we focus on doing our jobs, if we focus on keep on adding utility, keep on adding value, keep on listening to our community, keep on improving, that everything else will take care of itself. People will notice us. People will start coming to us. There'll be organic growth, and we feel like that's much better for the long term versus we pay for, say, a YouTuber, they go and chill us, a bunch of people jump in and they're just looking for a quick pump and dump, or even worse, that YouTuber themselves, they buy a bunch of tokens, they have a big following, they tell everyone about it, people jump in, and then they dump their tokens themselves. So we just want to be very careful because we want to bring value to our shareholders. So sorry, that's a bit of a longer answer, but yeah, that kind of is quite a philosophical thing, because it's a very common way that projects go about getting a following, and we're not looking for the average following. We're looking for people who really understand what we're doing, who really buy into what it is that we're doing as well. All right, guys, so that is the update. That's the list. Those are the questions and the stats on the protocol. I will just give an opportunity for one person to ask one question. If someone has a burning question that they want to ask on Discord, I'm going to give it 10 seconds for someone to either speak or type. 5 seconds. All right, guys. So that was our update for today. Thanks for hopping on and getting involved with us. I hope everyone has an awesome day.